Hello, my name's David and I'm the product manager of the SMEMA Hermes adapter. Today I'm going to show you how to merge in new data from another source such as the barcode reader. I'm going to be using Multiplug 81 and the Hermes version 20. Of course, if you're watching this in the future, certain elements might have changed. Check the description below for links or any idea of any changes. The version numbers for newer versions of the extension will be shown in the top right hand corner of the main user page. So the main use case is, let's say an ID has been created such as the bottom barcode. It's not been able to be added to the Hermes data within the machine that it has been created from, or maybe it was a new board being created at the start of the line, and so you want a way of adding to the record rather than recreating the record. I'm going to give you the caution I give to all my customers, which is the Hermes data is not a traceability engine, it's not a traceability system, and so data can be lost. It can be lost by error or machine downtime. So please attempt to use the supervisory or the vertical channel to save that data, anything that's changed. So there is a known location for that data and it will not be lost. So let's go and set this up. So if we go to the settings area and we go to the lane you want to change, we then go to upstream and then data. We have data validation in this area here. The board ID and board ID created by are compulsory values, so actually you should always have these values set, which is essentially saying that if these values equal 0, fail, stop. But we want to create a new one. So what we want to do, we want to create a new one. We want to select what we want to inject, the data that needs to be injected. So in this case we're going to use the bottom barcode. We're going to say if it equals the comparison blank, so if there's no value at the moment, add a value. We're going to untick fail because we actually want it to continue, but we want to add new data to it. And then we want to use a value, and the value we want to use is from the scan station. So essentially the barcode is already been scanned, or it's going to wait for it to be scanned. So if we save that, just a reminder for the scan station values settings. If we go to the scan station, we go to data sources. I know the top one here is actually the file importer. The bottom one is from the serial port. The serial port is attached to a USB scanner. So if we go into here, we can see that's the event, the subscription to the event that is called. We can then go to retrieval strategy. So when the value gets scanned, it can then just use that value as is, and that's what we're going to use. We're going to use the event subjects, or we can actually push that value up to the supervisory system, or we can push it along to the board query, which is actually the upstream. Or we can do both. We can say go to the supervisory system. If the supervisory system doesn't reply, go to upstream, or do the opposite way around, do the upstream first then the supervisory. But in this situation we're going to just use the event subjects as basic text as a barcode. So if we go to event subjects, essentially there's only one value, there's only one subject in this situation, and so we're going to make sure that the subscription to the serial port, which is the USB emulated barcode reader, it will have one value and then therefore only one index, and that will be 0. So we've actually made bottom barcode to be 0. If you want to add any other values, then this is the point where it gets collected and merged together. and if you wanted top barcode or if you want any other sort of information. And the default values are to the right there. So for example, you can set it so when a barcode gets scanned, it has a default value of the equipment at the time, which is the current recipe. So it might be a width, for example. You just want it to be set at that point, but it's all flexible. So it's going to go into the bottom barcode. So if we then go to the user page, we can do two things. We can test the scanner is working. So if I scan that, you can see the barcode record has been created, and if we look into there, we can see that the bottom barcode is the value that's been scanned. So that's waiting to be merged in now. And simply, if we move into inner board, it's happened already, and we can see that this net value, I've actually sent in only a top barcode value. It has the top barcode value, but it also has merged in the bottom barcode value. So that will now move downstream. Now if the scanner wasn't scanned at that point, so if I revoke that, and if the scan station is now empty, when the board comes in, it will pause. It will now be waiting for a scan, and if I do a scan, it's processed that in there. So that's it for this one, and that's a feature that a lot of people have requested. I've always said that I encourage customers to make sure the data is created at the start of the line, but I appreciate that lines can't be changed, and even if lines can be changed, sometimes there's a situation where an ID gets created, but it's just after the point where the data can be scanned by the actual machine that gets that creates the machine, or all sorts of reasons why physical situations were preventing data getting injected into the machines. Obvious point of injecting data is when the data is created by the machine itself, but it's not always possible when there's physical limitations. So I hope that helps, and check out the other videos on similar themes of validation and verification.